Welcome back to another video. Today, something a little bit different. Today we're looking at a really nice set of test leads. That's right, this is a 14-piece generic test lead set that is really, I think, quite incredible. It is super high quality, has a lot of multi-functionality, and just darn good looking. Yeah, can't beat a good set of leads. Good looking set of leads, you know what I mean. Another really nice thing about a set like this is the fact that these are modular. And by modular, I mean you're not stuck with the tips that it ships with. No, if you want to switch to an alligator clip or a different size end altogether, not a worry. You simply unscrew the top, put the head on that you want, and you're back in business. This is really nice. It's a time saver, and it really adds not just functionality, but overall usability to an already great set of probes. With this set, you get your 2 test leads and probe. You get 2 large alligator clips. You get a total of 6 replaceable tips. And you get these awesome spade plugs. And you know, spade plugs, believe it or not, they can come in really handy dandy at times. So yeah, don't throw these out with the bath water. You also get a couple of standard banana plugs as mentioned, and once again, you know, this is great to have this functionality, this unconformity, all of this stuff into one set of test leads. I love it. I love it. And not only do I like the functionality of it, but the quality. These are high quality leads. So if you're going to go and brag about how good something is, you better put it up against the best. And that's why I'm taking the Probemasters and putting them to the test with these generic great leads. If we start with the basics, in terms of the overall length of the cable, they are pretty well on par. These are around 48 inches in length, around 144 centimeters, I believe. So you've got a lot of length to work with. And yeah, it doesn't matter if you're working under a car, on top of a car, an airplane, motorcycle, helicopter, Ferrari, Maserati. You get my drift. Okay, so you've got a lot of length to do whatever the job requires. That's a good thing. Definitely don't want to get stuck with leads that are just too darn short for the job. Never could understand why some test lead manufacturers give you next to no length. So all in all, with these in contrast to the Probemasters, you're probably getting about an extra 7 inches or so. And, you know, an extra 7 inches is not always a bad thing. Also, if we take a look at the shroud or the end of these, it's very nice. It's not too long, not too short, generally long enough and not gonna be any problems. My Probemasters, in contrast, are a different type of jack insertion plug, but they each have their pros and cons. Honestly, I'd have to say I do prefer this style. Probemasters every now and then can actually jump out of that multimeter, and I'm actually doing some queries support-wise with Probemaster about that, trying to figure out how come these are jumping out of my multimeter. So that's a little disconcerting, but yeah, that's a different thing altogether. So once again, the shroud is nice and long, and not too long, not too short. All your cat ratings are there, not a problem. We have some nice give here on the lead. These are going to last a long time. Now these gorgeous leads ship with a Cat 3 1000 volt rating. Is it just me, or do these look a little Bryman-ish? Another important factor is the actual gauge of the wire. How thick is it? You know, length is one thing, but girth is also important. And yeah, thickness. The generics are slightly thicker than the Probemasters. Now let's get specific here. The Probemasters gauge is around 18, I believe, whereas the gauge on these is 15 according to the designation that they've printed on the leads themselves. So about 1 millimeter for the Probemasters, as opposed to about 1.4 millimeter gauge for the generics. So they're pretty close, but you do have just a slightly thicker, larger style wire than the Probemasters. Now, in terms of the suppleness and the oh so exquisiteness, they're both silicone, both very, very nice to the touch, but I'm going to give the edge on this one to the Probemasters. It just takes that luxurious silicone step a notch higher. Believe you me, you're not going to miss much, but hey, I'm being totally upfront and honest, and I'll definitely say that the silicone is just slightly better on the Probemasters. The Probemasters have that infamous, really unique style of grip. Some people love these, some people hate them. I love them. I think they're great. This is obviously your standard style generic lead. 112 millimeters is the length, around 4 inches on these generics. Just a tad bit longer than the Probemasters, but really not a major difference. Now look at those points. I mean, it just doesn't get much better this in the world of test probing. I mean, this is like two really gorgeous probes here. Obviously, the generic lead here, slightly longer than the Probemaster, a little bit thinner as well, so when you're in a tight situation and you really got to get into that SMD tug of war, so to speak, you're going to do better with these. Just a little bit longer and thinner, and sometimes that's what you need. But that being said, they are both gold-plated and very, very nice. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that I love my continuity. It's really important. I do a lot of it in my day-to-day work, and having a good meter and a good set of probes means I'm going to work a lot more efficiently and productively. And that's important, because if you're slow and inefficient, you don't make much money. So yeah, it's all about the money, honey, and you want to have the best of both worlds. So don't chintz out when it comes to your test leads. Perfect example is this meter. It ships with these really crappy style generic leads. The gauge of the wire is horrible. It just, you know, real shite. But for the sake of this demo, I'll give you a look-see at how these compare to these generic ones. Here we go. These are the generic no-name leads. Complete shite. Yeah, basically misses more than it catches, and if you're doing any sort of serious continuity testing, you're gonna miss all sorts of problems. Here we go with the nice generic. Yeah, like night and day. Obviously makes this meter actually a better meter. So I can't stress it enough. Don't settle for second best. Another really nice feature about needle nose test leads like these, that you can get into places you just normally could not get into. I've got a old Windows tablet in front of me, and it has blown a few components. And thankfully I had these leads on hand, and I was definitely able to troubleshoot things a lot quicker because they were nice and sharp and pointy. So, you know, something so simple can make a big difference. The Probemasters, as good as they are, just do not have quite the reach or the pointiness on the tips to get into those really tight spots. Now, don't get me wrong, you can do the job with these, but it's definitely going to take you a little bit longer. Now, these are modular. That is a great thing, and you simply unscrew the tip like so, and you can replace it with any end that you want. So let's try these banana jack tip, and it just screws in, and it's really nicely machined. Never had an issue. I've been using these probes for around 4 months now, and they still look and feel like new. A lot of usage, and I think you'll agree they look great. So that's another indicator of good quality. And the nice thing about a banana jack like that, for instance, is you can just simply insert it do all sorts of testing scenarios, what have you. So it really has a lot of functionality. Very, very handy. Another functionality of these plugs is they're also used as an adapter for the other ends. For instance, if you want to use the the alligator clip style, you just simply insert it like that and away you go. Easy to remove. Same thing goes for the spade lugs. Simply insert, plug and play, baby. Gotta love it. Yeah. And of course the venerable standard style test lead. These ones just screw in and it'll get in there nice and tight. And look at that. You wouldn't even know that it's a modular at this point. Really, really, really nice quality. So remember guys, at the end of the day, it's all about trying to make your life easier. You could use one set of leads that has multiple functionality, or you can use these. All in all, this is a super high quality set of test leads. I just cannot recommend them enough. Yeah, they're not $50 Probemasters, no. They're $14 generic, multifunctional, super great leads. Hey, you can do a lot worse than these. It's really hard to do a lot better. Definitely has a lot more functionality than my standard Probemasters, and they're built just as well. I'm giving this generic 14-piece set of test leads a solid 5 out of 5 stars. At this price point, it's just really hard to do any better. I just really cannot think of how they could improve the quality, the functionality, and just the overall look and feel of these leads. For me, 5 stars. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this review. It is snowing like crazy here in Canada. It just never seems to end, but from what I understand with some of my subscribers, some of you guys are actually mowing the lawn, so kudos to you guys. I hope I'm there sometime soon. Hey, thanks for watching. As always, keep those comments coming. Thumbs up if you like what you see. And best of all, keep on testing.